You've been holding everything together far longer than anyone truly realizes, and not in a loud, dramatic way either. In a quiet way, the kind of strength that doesn't announce itself, the kind that doesn't get applause, recognition, or validation. It doesn't get posted, it doesn't get praised, it just keeps showing up, even when your heart feels exhausted, even when your hope feels thin, worn out, and fragile. And if you were being honest, there have been days recently where you wake up already feeling broken, not because you didn't sleep, but because your spirit hasn't truly rested in a very long time. You've been carrying things you never talk about, unanswered prayers, silent conversations with something greater than yourself, dreams that haven't unfolded yet, chapters that feel incomplete, and questions you stopped asking out loud, not because you stopped caring, but because a part of you is afraid of what the silence might say back. And yet, here you are, still here, and that matters more than you think, because what you've been going through isn't random chaos. It's not punishment. It's not proof that you're behind, forgotten, or doing something wrong. It's pressure before release. Let that sink in for a second. You were never meant to understand every step while you were inside it, because if you did, it wouldn't shape you the way it needs to. Growth doesn't arrive gently. It doesn't knock politely. It feels like confusion. It feels like endings you didn't ask for. It feels like standing in a space where your old life no longer fits, but your new life hasn't arrived yet. That space, that uncomfortable, uncertain, in-between phase, that's exactly where you are right now. And here's what you might not be giving yourself enough credit for. You didn't break in this season. You bent. You adjusted. You adapted. You kept your heart open when it would have been easier to shut down. You chose kindness when bitterness would have been justified. You stayed honest when shortcuts tempted you. You chose truth when comfort would have been easier. That kind of strength, it does not go unnoticed. Not by life, not by the universe, not by something greater than you. Now listen carefully, because this part matters. There are moments when it feels like everything you built is quietly falling apart. Plans collapsing, timelines dissolving, people drifting away, doors closing, without explanation. And yes, it feels unfair, because you weren't careless. You tried. You showed up. You waited. Longer than you ever wanted to. But here's the truth, most people only understand after everything changes. Sometimes things aren't falling apart. They're falling out of the way. Read that again. What you're going through right now, it doesn't look like preparation. It looks like delay. It feels like disappointment. It feels like confusion. Like you're standing still while the world keeps moving. But real lasting things are never rushed. And life doesn't place something meaningful into your hands until you're ready to hold it without breaking it or losing yourself in it. You are being refined, not rejected. There's a reason your patience was tested instead of your strength. A reason your heart was stretched instead of hardened. A reason you had to sit in uncertainty instead of being handed easy answers. Because what's coming? It's not temporary. It's not fragile. And it's not something you'll have to fight to keep. And the version of you from a year ago wouldn't have been ready for it. Be honest. There have been nights you stared at the ceiling wondering if things will ever shift. Mornings where hope felt quieter than it used to. Moments where you questioned everything. Your timing, your direction, even your purpose. But hear this clearly. What you desire didn't come to you by accident. That inner pull, that quiet knowing, it's not random. You weren't brought this far just to be left in the middle. You're closer than you feel. In fact, you might be in the final stretch, even if it doesn't look like it yet. Because here's how change often works. It doesn't arrive with noise, it doesn't come with announcements. It comes quietly. A conversation that shifts everything. An opportunity that appears naturally. A sense of peace replacing anxiety. And one day, almost unexpectedly, you realize your life is moving again. That's when trust becomes real. Not the kind people talk about, but the kind you live. Trust when nothing makes sense. Trust when you don't have proof. Trust when all you can say is, I don't see it, but I'm still here. That counts more than you know. And there is something coming into your life. Something that will make this waiting make sense. Not because the pain was necessary, but because you didn't close yourself off while going through it. You stayed open. You stayed hopeful. Even if it was quiet. Even if it was imperfect. And that choice, it changed everything. Because when this next chapter finally arrives, it won't come with chaos. It won't come with confusion. and it won't demand that you exhaust yourself just to hold on to it. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to force it into place. You won't have to shrink yourself, explain yourself, or prove your worth just to keep it. You'll simply recognize it. And that recognition won't come from logic. It will come from feeling. Not because it's loud, not because it's dramatic, not because it demands attention, but because it feels like peace. A kind of peace you don't have to question. A kind of calm that doesn't come with conditions. A kind of certainty that doesn't need constant reassurance. It will feel like something inside your chest, finally exhaling, like you've been holding your breath for so long. And suddenly, without effort, you can breathe again. It will feel like things are settling, instead of constantly falling apart, like you're no longer bracing yourself for the next disappointment, like your nervous system is finally allowed to rest. And let me ask you something. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Have you started to feel that subtle shift lately? That quiet, almost unexplainable feeling deep inside you, like something is about to change? Not in a loud way, not in a way you can fully describe, but in a way you can sense. That small inner whisper that says, something is moving, even if I can't see it yet. That's not your imagination. That's alignment beginning to take shape. That's everything you've been waiting for, starting to move toward you. This isn't the end of your patience being tested. This is the beginning of your endurance being rewarded. This is the moment where all the invisible effort, the quiet resilience, the unseen strength, finally starts to meet the right timing. This is where effort meets alignment, where waiting begins to transform into receiving. And when things start working out, they won't just work out fine. They won't just be good enough. They won't just barely hold together. They will exceed what you expected. They will unfold in ways you didn't plan for, in ways you didn't even think to ask for, because your mind was trying to settle for comfort. But life has been preparing alignment. You were aiming for what felt safe, but life has been building what's actually right. You wanted speed, but life has been creating stability. You wanted quick relief, but life has been working on real transformation. And that's why surrender becomes so important here. Not giving up, not losing hope, not walking away from what matters, but releasing the need to control how everything unfolds. Letting go of the tight grip on timelines, letting go of the pressure to make everything happen now. Trusting that what is meant for you doesn't require you to force it into existence. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. It's choosing to believe that things can come together without you having to break yourself trying to arrange them. So take a breath, a real one. Slow down for a moment. There's nothing you need to rush anymore. Nothing you need to chase. Nothing you need to compete for. You are not behind. You are not late. And what's meant for you is already finding its way to you, even now, especially now. Before you move forward, pause here. Let this settle inside you. Say this, not as a hope, but as a decision. I trust the timing of my life. Say it again, slowly. I trust the timing of my life. Because trust isn't something you wait to feel confident about. It's something you choose, especially when clarity hasn't arrived yet. And if this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, don't keep it to yourself, because there is someone out there right now. Someone who hasn't complained, but has been carrying more than they let on. Someone who smiles, but feels heavy inside. Someone who says, I'm fine, but is quietly exhausted. Not loud exhaustion, not visible burnout, but the quiet kind. The kind that shows up every day, even when it feels like everything inside is asking for what. The kind that keeps going, not because it's easy, but because stopping feels even harder. Share this with them, because sometimes your words, your presence, your timing becomes the exact sign someone else was praying for. Not a miracle in the sky, not something dramatic, just something simple, something real, something that reminds them they're not alone. And sometimes when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Even in the moments where it feels like nothing is moving at all, there is a quiet kind of progress taking place right now. The kind you can't measure, the kind you can't post about, the kind that doesn't give you instant proof, but is real nonetheless. Roots are growing in silence, and not just shallow roots, deep ones. The kind that anchor you so firmly that when life shifts again, you won't be easily shaken. Strength is forming in places that once felt fragile, places you used to doubt. Parts of you that once collapsed under pressure are learning how to hold steady, and it's happening slowly, subtly, without announcement. Clarity is building, right in the middle of your confusion, Even if your thoughts still feel scattered, even if you don't have all the answers yet, even if things still seem uncertain, something inside you is organizing itself, piece by piece, moment by moment. You are beginning to understand things you couldn't see before. You are starting to outgrow patterns you once thought were permanent. You are becoming aware in ways your past self wasn't ready for. Healing is unfolding, even if it doesn't look like healing yet. Because healing doesn't always feel gentle in the beginning. Sometimes it feels like discomfort. Sometimes it feels like distance. Sometimes it feels like everything you thought you understood no longer makes sense. But that doesn't mean it isn't working. It means something inside you is rearranging. Because real change, real, lasting transformation doesn't make noise when it begins. It doesn't arrive with certainty. It doesn't come with immediate clarity. It happens quietly, patiently, gently, like seeds breaking open underground, long before anything reaches the surface. And think about that for a moment. Before something grows, it first has to break open. Before something becomes visible, it develops in darkness. Before something reaches the light, it learns how to survive without it. That's where you are right now. And here's the truth most people only realize later. The moment before everything shifts often feels exactly like nothing is changing. It feels still, unmoving, heavy. It feels like you're stuck in the same place, watching time pass without progress. It feels uncertain, like you're walking without direction. And that feeling can be uncomfortable. It can make you question everything. It can make you doubt yourself, your path, your timing. But that feeling, it doesn't mean you're stuck. It means something is preparing. It means things are aligning in ways you cannot yet see. It means pieces are being put together behind the scenes. So if this is where you are right now, take a breath. You're not lost. Even if the path ahead isn't clear yet, you are not wandering aimlessly. You're not falling behind. Even if it feels like others are moving faster, your timing is not wrong. You're not being overlooked. Even if it seems like nothing is happening for you, that doesn't mean nothing is happening within you. You are standing on the edge of something real, something meaningful, something that hasn't revealed itself yet, but is already unfolding, even now, even in this moment. And one day, not far from now, you're going to look back at this chapter of your life, and everything will make sense in a way it doesn't right now. You'll understand why things slowed down, why certain doors didn't open, why certain people couldn't stay, why certain plans had to fall apart. You'll see that nothing was wasted. Not the waiting, not the confusion, not the setbacks, not even the moments that felt like failure. Nothing was random. Every delay had direction. Every challenge carried purpose. Every pause was creating space for something better. Nothing was meaningless. Even the moments that felt empty were shaping you in ways you couldn't recognize at the time. You weren't behind. You were being positioned. You weren't forgotten. You were being prepared. You weren't lost in the process. You were being guided through it, step by step. Even when you couldn't see the path, you were becoming stronger, not in a way that hardens you, but in a way that allows you to remain soft and steady at the same time. Becoming wiser, not in a way that makes you guarded, but in a way that helps you choose better without losing your openness. Becoming ready, without even realizing it. And the most powerful part of all, you were never as far away as it felt. Even in your most uncertain moments, even in your most doubtful days, even when it seemed like nothing was working, you were still moving forward. You were still growing. You were still getting closer. Closer than your fear allowed you to believe. Closer than your exhaustion could recognize. Closer than your doubts could accept. You were closer the entire time than you ever imagined.